He said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge, and I will also reject them, and their children shall be no priest unto me. He said, because you reject knowledge, your children will be beat down in the street, shot down at the head of every street because we reject the knowledge. He didn't say, you can't get to where I need you to go because you don't dance enough, sing enough, shout enough. That's just a part of our nature because we came out of the tribe of Judah. That's right. And Judah, they were the dancers, the singers. Judah, it said in one of the Bibles that I read, it said that Judah, because it's talking about the 12 testaments, the testament of the 12 patriarchs. And it said Judah, he could run so fast, he could run alongside a deer. Now, these people weren't lying. These were some super powerful people back there. So why do you think you can run so fast today? It's part of your DNA, part of who you are. But see, we just think that it's just something that just happened to be. No. There are historical facts about you, and we don't go far enough to find them out. But I'm just one of those I want to know. And I will never settle for what somebody just tells me. If you tell me, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to make a mental note. When I get to where I can, I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to check out what you told me. Because I want to know. And see, when I say it, I don't want to say it just because you said it. I want to say it because you said it and I saw it. That's right. Then when somebody challenges me, I say, no. Go look at this. Go look at that. Because I'm not going to get into a contest with folk, and I don't have my act together. See? So I'm going to know what I'm talking about. So I want you to understand. He said, this people's leaders cause them to error. He said the ones that lead them are causing them to be in the trouble that they're in. He said, and I have set this thing in motion so that they go from glory to glory to glory. He said, but it's the truth that will take them from glory to glory to glory. He said, so look, son. He said, tell my people, I don't need them to do what those that have oppressed them have done. He said in Proverbs 3:31, envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways. So now, I was talking to my nephew last night and his wife. They've just been married. He's an engineer. She's a pharmacist. And I tell the young brothers and sisters, I am proud of you guys. Get it so that when the time is right, he can replace the folk that's not right with you. But if you going to act like the same folk who were there, he don't need a black fool up there to replace a white one. Get your act together. Live right. Do good. Know how to treat people. And then when he puts you at the top, you can bless everybody all the way down. Because you can make the decisions to change the whole thing. You see, we think we got to do like the ones that have oppressed us. No, you don't. You do not. They have many things wrong. Everywhere I've studied, there's nothing you're going to find on this planet that you cannot find a microcosm in this Bible. Nothing. I can show you everybody what they do. There is if it's not but one little scripture, there's something in this Bible that can open your eyes to what's going on around the world. You see, the Bible tells us that what we saw with the shootings in Texas and what we saw a few weeks ago, shootings down in Florida, what we saw go on over in France, and then Turkey having their coup, 54 people dead. He told us in Matthew 24, he said, look, he said, all these things are going to start to happen. Nation going to be against nation, kingdom against kingdom. They're going to be fighting. He said, now, don't get disturbed because that's just the beginning. The hard stuff ain't even come yet. That's just the start of it. He said, you're going to see some stuff that's going to blow your mind. He said, but don't be disturbed, those that know me. He said, don't get your hackles up, don't get all frustrated, don't get scared. He said, because I've always taken care of my people. But see, here is the problem. He said, come out of Babylon, my people. He wasn't telling you to leave and go somewhere else because Babylon is all over the planet right now. The spirit of Babylon. So what he's saying is, get your mind disengaged from the craziness of this system and understand what this book says. Then you'll find yourself being disengaged. You'll be dislodged, but yet you'll still be on the planet. That's why Paul told us, be ye in this world, but not of this world. I'm in it, but I'm not of it. Learning how to get further into the truth, and as I get further into the truth, the less of this stuff the doctors have given me do I have to take. It's falling off. Because the body is getting better. Because God said stuff like, he said, I will cause your flesh to be as fresh as a baby's flesh. I'll cause your strength to return to the days of your youth. But we've accepted, well, you got to die with something. Show me that in the Bible. It's not in the book. We'll pick it up and we preach it at funerals. Well, you know, God came down and he picked the flower out of his flower garden. God does not pick flowers, he plants flowers. The devil is the one that takes us out because of our ignorance. We don't understand, and we are still going along with what somebody told us. Well, you got to die with something. It is not in the word. You die with something because you don't know. He didn't say that. And if I don't find it in the book, I'm not going to believe it. Now, the devil will push at you hard enough to make you think you're going to die with something. If you don't get your mind renewed, you'll die with something. And then you'll say stuff like, well, you know, my mama had it, my grandmama had it, my great-grandmama had it. It just runs in the bloodline. When you going to break it out of the bloodline? When are you going to stop it from going any further? Why are you going to let it keep going on? You're supposed to know. You're in the age of enlightenment and knowledge in the word, and here you are still saying what they said when they had no help. They couldn't do a thing. Doing the best they could. Falling dead in the cotton field. Having a baby in the cotton field, landing up under the tree and going back to picking cotton. They had nothing else. You got everything up under the sun, and now you're talking about, well, you got to die with something. You see, to me, that is a mind game. I just don't believe it. I just don't. Because he said, with my stripes, you were. So it was done. I was in him, in his DNA, on that cross. And he said he took all sicknesses, diseases, and infirmities, took them to the cross with him, and I was in his loins. I was dead. So when I'm living and something is going on with me, I have to go back and pull forward what he did for me 2,000 years ago, hanging on that tree. But I got to transform my mind. I got to renew it so I stop talking Satan's mess. I talk too much of Satan's lies. And see, I believe the English language is Satan's language. Because you can have 15 words mean the same thing. And we can confuse and twist, say stuff and do stuff. And you think, well, Lord, that's what he said. Now, no, this was the word I used, and it means it's slightly different than this one. So you thought I said this, but I said this. It's a mind game, folks. It's a game. And the Bible said, cry loud and spare not, show my people their transgressions. A transgression is a knowingly going above what the living God has said. And he said, in the house of Jacob, their sins. You see, iniquitous thinking is one thing. Iniquity is just wrong thinking, wrong concepts. Somebody can teach you stuff, and you can be thinking wrong and not know it. And he said, I'll deal with that to bring you back to a place of understanding. He said, but when you transgress, that means when I go in this Bible and I find something and then decide I'm not going to do it, I'm transgressing because I know better. And he said the way of the transgressor is hard. Hard. So I decided to quit transgressing. I told my wife, I said, whatever he says, it's done. I said, ain't gonna bother me if black, white, Jew, Greek, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Satan, the devil, life, death, angels, principalities, nothing is gonna stop me from obeying, because I am not gonna die with this crazy American mess that's been put in my mind. I am not. Because I don't have to. and they're playing games with us every day, the witchcraft all over the TV, the radio, the sorcery everywhere. And they're playing these games, putting lies out there, playing with the minds of people. You know, there are a lot of European brothers and sisters. They don't read a thing. They just listen to Bill O'Reilly. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Fox and Bill O'Reilly next week. You see, we don't realize Satan has apostles and prophets and pastors and evangelists and teachers too. Yes, he does. And Bill O'Reilly is a prophet of Satan. And Bill and Sean went to seminary. And now look at what they're doing. They can twist more stuff than you can untwist. Have people believing stuff that just is not so. And we just think that it's okay. No. I just have this sensation. When people start saying things on the TV and radio, I just know, no. Just like when they said, well, you know, Michael Johnson shot 10 policemen in Dallas. No, he didn't. First of all, he didn't have enough training. He had basic military artillery training. How to just shoot a gun. This man is not going to get up in a high rise and have the skills to shoot down 10 officers. And officers are trained when they hear gunshots to take cover. You're not going to tell me it was one untrained black man. I don't believe it. I'm not that big a fool. One untrained black man did all that. I guarantee you, now this is going to bother some of you, I guarantee you those are some boys that were in the government high up that have been trained to do what was done down there because it's been done before. But see, you just don't know where you live. You say, you're a conspiracy theorist? Well, you need to read some of the history I read about how they got together to decide what they were going to do with you and me. So you say there's no conspiracy? Oh, yeah. Worked all the way from Europe all the way over here. Look at the propaganda, how they switched and said, well, you know, the Civil War did not, it happened because of pride. No, they were having a congressional meeting in Baltimore. And all the southern states got up and walked out because they had called it only for the purpose of voting on slavery. And all the southern states walked out, and that's when the Civil War started. But they sanitized it to make you think there was for some other reason. No, I'm sorry, my white brother, my black brother, it's wrong. That is not the truth. And he's believing something, riding around with his little bumper sticker, pride, not prejudice. Now, it was racism to start with. And it was created in this southern system. And we live down here. I feel this stuff. I didn't ask God to show me what I see, but I go places, I'm like, oh, girl, I tell you what, there's something here. I sense it. Something here ain't right. Ride through certain towns, or we need to speed up. Something here that ain't cool. But I better not drive too fast, because that little old boy with the badge, he'll be wanting to pull me over. So I know I got to get on through here. Now, I didn't ask to be who I am. I am just who I am. And you need to stop being afraid to be who you are. But see, we scared to death. No, well, I better not say that. Better not do that. Somebody going to get me. I'm not worried about that. Let me show you this real quick. in Revelation chapter 12. And it said, and I'm going to be through in just a few minutes. Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. The way we overcome, first of all, there had to be a Savior. There had to be somebody to do something that we could not do. And he told Israel, he said, I'm going to scatter you. And that's over in Ezekiel 35. He said, you're going to go through a lot of changes. He said, but I'm going to bring you through, and I'm going to set my servant David up over you. And then you can find the same thing in chapter 39. And then you can go back and find it also in Hosea chapter 1, where he said, I'm going to set one Lord, one David over them. And then Acts chapter 2 tells you who David was. David is Christ. So what he's saying is, I have written my laws and put them in their hearts and in their minds, and they're going to have a knowledge of me, but they're not going to really know me. But the time is going to come when that's in them, they're going to look for the Savior. And that is Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ came and said, now I'm going to redeem my people back. And I'm going to shed my blood to do that. You see, without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. And see, we don't even understand, if I may digress for a moment, we don't even understand what all these shootings are about. You see, you got to go back and study old ancient religions, and every time they wanted to open a portal to let a demon come in, they had to do some killing. So when you see all this killing going on around this country, it's portals being opened to let demons come back in this land. So that's why we got so much crazy stuff going on. And every time, and it's got to be more than one, it's got to be a mass public something so that it opens that portal. Then these forces come in, then things get worse. And then it starts to replicate itself. So without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sin. But the devil says without the shedding of blood, I can't bring my evil in. See? So he got to kill some folk. And that's what he does. And that's how he gets demonic forces in. You say, well, you know, all this stuff they were talking about with 2012, all that was in 2012, that was just a time when another portal was open, because there were angels that were locked down that was in between Satan and this hierarchy. And God said he locked them in the bottomless pit. And about 2012 is when that thing started, and they started doing stuff, and the portal opened to let some forces come back in to get back in the hierarchy with Satan, these super powerful angels, and they are working now, and the devil knows he has but a short time, so he needed all of his help back to make this thing work. And here we are, we're doing the same things, not even understanding what forces are working against us. And we're not telling you in church either. If you want to be misinformed, go to church. Because we ain't going to tell you nothing in church. Because the church is the place where we just worship. The Bible said they must worship me in spirit and in truth. How in the world you going to worship him in spirit and half of what we got is a lie? It can't be true worship. I'm sorry. Don't mean to disturb you. Because I know this is July. This is the month of liberation, independence. So I know you don't want to hear this kind, but I'm going to tell you because you're here now. We need to understand what is being done. You know how many people talk to my wife and I want us to come and pray to get stuff off of their children because they're seeing demons and devils in their bedroom middle of the night, and we just walk in and say, in the name of Yeshua, you're bound. And it stops. Do you understand the authority you're supposed to have? But if nobody tells you who you are, what you got, you will never run that stuff off. I do not worry about demons, devils, angels, principalities, powers, because if they show up in my house, as the old folk, you say they're going to get killed. They're going to put up with that. I don't have to put up with that. And see, I don't want you to come to church, and all we do is make you feel better living with that demon. That ain't what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to show you how to get rid of that thing, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So you're supposed to be able to stop some stuff. You're not supposed to have to take your child to Dr. Small Fungus. You can lay your hands on him and get that demon out by yourself. Well, I don't know what to do. This thing is just giving us a fit in the house. Well, no, I ain't going to say that. It said, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb I can do nothing without the Lamb. If I don't have Yeshua and his shed blood, because the devil cannot cross the bloodline. You see, it's the blood that washes me. It's the blood that cleans me. It's the blood that makes me free. It's the blood that stops the devil. The devil cannot cross the blood. You see, if you take the plasma in blood and break it all the way down, it's light, it's white, it's clear. So when he puts the blood on me, I light up like a tree, because the blood is on me, and the devil cannot get past the blood. So when the blood is on me, the devil can come so close, but he cannot get on me. And then I got authority in my mouth to tell him, you better back up, because this is private property. You can't come up in here. If we understood, yeah, I'm a fighter. We're going to fight till we win. Ain't no stopping us now. We're going to win. Victory is ours. It belongs to us. And you better know that. Don't you give the devil any place in your life, because you got the blood on you. When they got ready to come out of Egypt, Yahweh told them, said, put the blood on the doorpost. And when I see the blood, I'm going to pass over you. Now, if the big, almighty, single God will pass over you and he can kill anything, you know the little boys ain't got no choice but to pass on over you. Oh, we better know what this book says, because this thing is it. So you better understand, you got to have the blood. And then he said, they had a testimony. That means if you ain't ever been through nothing, you ain't got nothing to testify about. But see, I done been through some stuff and things and things and stuff. So when you start talking to me, I can tell you about where the Lord has brought me from, where he's brought me through. And that's why we used to sing the old song, I'm going through. You see, we don't get in nothing to stay in it except you don't know any better. I'm going through everything I'm in. It came to pass. So no matter what came on me, it came to pass on away. Ain't nothing gonna hold me captive. Nothing is gonna hold her captive. Ain't no demons, no devils, ain't no lies, no deceit. Nothing is gonna stop where we're going. And you better know that the greater one is in you. The greater one ain't Satan. If he was the bad boy, he got kicked out of the place that you live in. He ain't even in there anymore. God has cast him down and put him under your feet. So this boy ain't got nothing to say to me. And I'm not going to use his language. I'm not talking his smack. I'm just telling him, hey, you just better back up. You don't know who you're messing with. All right, you're going to mess around and get hurt. Listen. Real quick, Jacob, when he was wrestling with God, his name, Jacob, meant heel tripper, supplanter. He was the one always tripping up his brother. In other words, he was a crafty fellow. And the angel told him, and the angel was actually God, he said, what's your name? My name is Heel Tripper. And because I know how to trip up hills, I got to use my own slick, sly stuff to make stuff happen. So I don't have the strength to fight, but I've got the smarts to know how to hustle you. I can hustle you and I can get over on you. He said, I'll win by hook or crook or whatever I got to do. So Yahweh said, okay, boy, your adroitness, your ability makes you think you can win and you hustle your brother. But I'm going to change your name from Jacob to Israel. Israel. That word actually means, as Yahweh shall we wrestle. For with Yahweh hast thou wrestled, and with men thou must prevail. He said, now you've wrestled with God, and he told him, he said, you've got a connection with God and with men. And since you've wrestled with God, there's no man that can defeat you. Now, this comes from a compound word, Israel, which means he shall wrestle, and El means God. Now, truly stated, it means that Elohim shall he wrestle. What that means is where he used to wrestle as Jacob, now when he's wrestling, it's God wrestling through him, defeating whatever is coming at him. So he changed his name where he moved him from saying, well, I'm going to do everything I can to see can I get myself delivered. I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight. And God said, now, boy, I'm going to put me in you, and it's going to be me wrestling in you, and you ain't got to use your cunning, crafty stuff. I'm going to win for you. So when God changes your name, and he's already changed your name from whatever it was to Israel, that means that now you're wrestling as God. You're not wrestling with stuff as you. You're not wrestling with your sickness as you. It is God in you wrestling with that sickness, and that sickness is going to go because God has already defeated it. So you don't fight that thing. What you do is come to your resting place. I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me. He said, you rest, I fight. You rest in me. I'll do the fighting. And I'll give you what you need to say when you need to say it. And when you say what I tell you to say, it'll get the victory. You see, so you got to understand that you overcome through your testimony. And your testimony means you've been tested. And you were doing some moaning while you were being tested. Now you got a testimony. Now you can tell somebody what you've been through. Tell them what you came out of. Because you know when you're going through stuff, you whine, you complain, you cry, oh, woe is me. God, when is it going to stop? I don't know why it's got to be this long with me. Lord, I don't know what I've done. Why am I being treated like this? You moan, you complain, you whine when you're in that place. But when he brings you through, now you've been tested while you were moaning. Now you got a testimony.